Humans! For too long you have dared to defy the mighty Gloravak Empire. Today, your arrogance will be your downfall. We come to obliterate you all. DarkRaven Jordan narrowed his eyes as he observed the distorted visage on the screen. The Gloravakian leader's cold, white eyes bored into him, its numerous tentacles thrashing menacingly in front of a small army of followers. With a calm composure, Carl cleared his throat and gave a nod to his communications officer. Though her eyes betrayed fear, she activated the microphone before him. "Greetings," Carl began, his voice steady and controlled. "To which war leader do I have the honor of speaking? I am Vortagen, scion of the great Imperial Tex, Fasrobin, defiler of the galaxy, warlord leader of the fleet of bitter tears." "Salutations, Vortagen," Carl responded with a measured tone. "I am DarkRaven, war leader of humanity's great and deadly fleet of utter annihilation. As a warrior, I salute you and eagerly anticipate our battle." Behind him, out of the view of the screen, one of his officers typed furiously on the internal communication system, his fingers dancing across the keys as messages from crew members flashed across the display. "We are reading 117. Number 119 Gloravakian ships emerging out of jump. That's a lot of ships. They are all battle cruisers. Looks like they're serious this time." The human leader ignores the messages and adds, "I have heard of your ancestor Fasrobin. Mighty was he. Even we humans sing songs of honor for his many glorious victories." "We sang songs? Have you heard what young people listen to these days? They could be doing." PWO confirms 120 ships now in total. "And you will find," comes the voice of the alien commander, "that I am cut from the same material as my sire. Prepare for destruction. All ships arm your weapons." At his command 120 Gloravak craft begin activating powerful weapon systems, each and every one of them directed at the single human craft that floated before them. DarkRaven raises an eyebrow. "You would start before our grand fleet arrives? I thought the Gloravak were less cowardly than this. Our previous dealings led us to believe that you alone in the galaxy are a race we were to see as true warriors. We have not fired, have we, humans?" snarls the Gloravak commander. "3 times our species have come close to battle and 3 times we have decided to engage in détente. Never before have our forces clashed with the infamous human fleet of utter annihilation. But on this day that ends, let us see how powerful you humans actually are." Behind the human captain, the ship's principal weapons officer quietly and urgently types information to the crew, who, despite orders not to, always type back. PWO counting over 40 particle accelerators aiming towards us. "Are those missile batteries as well?" PWO confirming missiles. "About 4 or 5. That's not many. Thousands. That's a huge load of missiles." PWO can confirm 12 ships show signatures matching gravimetric weapons systems. "That sounds bad." "It's worse than bad, Thomas. They turn ships inside out." PWO can confirm the alien flagship may have some kind of dark energy weapon. "What the hell is a dark energy weapon?" PWO has no idea but figures we are going to find out real fast. "Indeed," says the human leader, ignoring his crew. 3 times in human history our forces have met with the mighty Gloravak Empire. 3 times your people have convinced us not to destroy you. 3 times we have allowed you survive to carve a glorious path through the stars. At last we fight. It was inevitable. Of course it is. The galaxy cannot have 2 dominant species. Either we will win and destroy your empire or you will win and destroy ours." The human shook his head. "But we have no intention of destroying the Gloravak Empire. Your planets and territory is insignificant to us," shrugs the humans. "What did you say?" "We are about to engage in battle, Vortagen. We will destroy your fleet and then carry on with our business," says DarkRaven, raising his hands in a gesture of indifference. "What? Do you think we would waste our time and effort to invade you? Your space offers us no prizes worth our time. We will destroy your fleet and then intend to carry on with our business. But we intend to destroy your civilization. That will not happen, Vortagen. Let me tell you what will happen. The great and deadly fleet of utter annihilation will arrive. Then we will destroy you and your entire armada. And then? The great and deadly fleet of utter annihilation will leave. And we will carry on as if nothing has happened. Perhaps you will send others to our borders to avenge you. We will simply obliterate them also. On his screen before him, the human communications officer types the message. Reinforcements arriving in 3 minutes. This will not be so, screams Vortagen, his followers swaying their tentacles behind him. This armada you see has crushed over a dozen worlds beneath its wrath. These ships are veterans of over 40 battles, crews who are expert. The human leader on the screen facing Vortagen cries out as if in pain. The Gloravak all cease and stare at the enemy. The human blinks in incredulity and stares back at his counterpart. Wait! This is all your fleet? The question leaves Vortagen shocked. Yes, of course. Like you are not expecting any more reinforcements. The Gloravak war leader pauses and contemplated the question. Of course not, no. Why? The human nods and winces. Ah. I see. I thought this was only merely your personal honor guard and your fleet was many times bigger. Excuse me. Vortagen turns his head to his fellow Gloravak, his tentacles gesture surprise and shock. They gesture back in surprise and shock. Meanwhile, the human leader on the screen turns to look at one of his crew off-screen. This is Admiral DarkRaven. Stand down the great fleet of utter annihilation. The enemy only 120 of their primitive craft. It would be dishonorable to fight such mighty warriors when we would outnumber them 10,000 to 1 inch. Vortagen turns to his officers. Why don't our records say the humans had so many ships? We have never seen their full fleet. Never? No, Lord Vortagen, our forces have only met small numbers of them in the past. Why do we not know more? Our forebears thought it prudent to make peaceful accord with them. This is why our two species have never violated each other's space. Until now. We are braver than our ancestors. It must be war. 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 Vortagen turns his attention back to the human only to hear him say, Yes, send only the squadron of ultimate death. The Gloravakian war leader shivers with rage and bellows into his translator. You would dishonor us by sending only a squadron? There is no dishonor, Vortagen. The squadron of ultimate death are our finest warriors. They alone held the line against the mighty empire of the Nash. We have never heard of this mighty empire of Nash. Exactly, smiles the human. Suddenly the principal weapons officer furiously types out a message. We have 4 Gloravak breaking formation on an attack vector. I see your younger commanders are eager for battle, Vortagen. I don't blame them. Talk is for weak species. It is only a pity they break formation, as we believed your species were disciplined warriors. What? We are? Vortagen turns to his officers. Who breaks formation? Romag and his disciples, war leader. Order him to cease. He wishes to commence battle, war leader. As do I. But he makes us seem as undisciplined as the Nur. We are braver than our ancestors. We are more disciplined than the Nur. He brings shame to Gloravak. Shame. Shame. Commands are issued. On board the human ship, the PWO types out furiously, confirming the 4 ships have stopped. Under this, a message from the officer on scanners appears. But the rest of the fleet is moving up alongside them. We are in weapons range. The medical officer words appear on the screen. We are going to die. The vast Gloravak armada moves with terrible finality towards the sole human ship. Their commander turns his giant head back to the screen. Enough talking, human DarkRaven. We shall commence battle. Ships incoming, types the communications officer, and DarkRaven smiles at Vortagen. Indeed, Gloravakian, the squadron of ultimate death have arrived. Behind the single human ship, 9 others suddenly appear, warp engines popping them out of compressed space with a flash. Each was identical. Long, sleek craft, with rounded ends and covered in human iconography. The alien commander pauses and gazed at his screens. Behind him, a score of Gloravak crew begin reporting what their scanners detected. Human craft have materialized in. They are in a battle line formation. Distance to new craft 36 rels. Have the battleships focus their weapons on them. Cruisers target their admiral's private craft. War leader, I detect no weapons on board the human craft. What? I detect no weapons on the new human craft. Check with the rest of the armada, says the voice of another Gloravak. Verify that. War leader, the armada confirms. There are no weapons aboard the human ships. What is this? Demands Vortagen, turning on his communications unit. What is what? The human speaks calmly, a single eyebrow raised. Your new ships carry no weapons? The human's face drops. Shock and disbelief crosses it. Are you telling me you cannot detect our weapon systems? Surely you have accessed Fledel compression technology by now? Your species is one of the most advanced in the galaxy. The Gloravak war leader remains still but out of sight of the camera. One of its tendrils makes the shape that their species recognized as demands information. Around it, Gloravak officers scramble at their screens. Fledel compression? What is that? I have no idea. I see no weapons systems. None matching our designs. I am detecting huge amounts of phosphine on the new ship's war leader. Phosphine? What is phosphine? A gas. Quite rare. Such a gas is only found deep in gas giants. Where do you detect this? The ships that have just arrived. They are filled with phosphine. What weapon system works on phosphine? None that we know of. But these ships are filled with phosphine. Whatever weapon it is, they are all fully loaded. How can phosphine be a weapon? How can you collect so much phosphine? It is found only deep in gas giants. Their ships must be strong. I am detecting hardly any armor. The Gloravak leader moves his tentacle to indicate silence. Across the screen he watches his human counterpart closely. The human is animated, angry. Its face red, the report of voices can be heard. The human so agitated he did not turn on his communication systems as he conversed with his own crew. Vortagen and his crew listened to the human conversation. It is unfair, says a voice. They have come for a fight, says the one called DarkRaven. They are mighty and honorable race of warriors. It would be dishonorable to not fight them, even if their weapons are so weak and their numbers so few. The Gloravak officers look at one another. Another human voice suddenly is heard. But they cannot even detect Fledel weapons, Admiral. That means they probably have not even encountered Diamodian shields. So? Diamodian shields? I detect no shields on the human ships. The humans speak correctly. We have never encountered such shields. How can we combat what we have never seen? Vortagen, many eyes gaze at his enemy upon the screen. The human looks pained and the off-screen voice continues. Admiral, there is no honor in killing these Gloravakians. They will not even know what kills them. But they have asked for this battle, bellows DarkRaven. It won't be a battle, it will be a slaughter. We are better than this. I cannot stand by as we butcher a younger, inferior race. How ancient are the humans? According to our records, as old as the stars themselves. We discovered this when we first met them. What weapon can you make from phosphine? What forces are forged in the hearts of gas giants? Are we sure this was a good idea? Then you know what you must do, says the human war leader. Any who will not kill the enemy must kill himself for disobedience. I understand, says the off-screen voice. Wait. What did he just say? Suddenly, off-screen, a scream begins as an unseen human takes his own life. His agonies echo across the stars, broadcast into every Gloravakian ship in their armada. Behind the war leader, his crews speak in hushed tones. They kill themselves if they disagree with their commander. I know we maintain strict discipline, but they would rather die than show mercy to a technologically inferior foe? The scream finally ends. That is hardcore. Around him, many Vangaborians shake their tentacles in agreement. Enough! Bellows the human war leader, and he turns his eyes upon his Gloravak counterpart. Vortagen, scion of Fasrobin, we have just one last inquiry before we commence this battle. he spits. Go. Go on, says Vortagen. We humans recognize you Gloravak as a warrior race. No doubt, like us, you demand any survivors of a defeat must kill themselves for shame. Some species we have found cannot self-terminate. Would it dishonor your funerary rituals for us to terminate your survivors for you? That won't, we do not subscribe to such ideas. It is not a disgrace to survive a battle. The human nods and smiles sympathetically. Ah. In which case, Vortagen, before we unleash our weapons, please tell us which one of your craft you wish to designate Harbinger. What does that mean? Oh, when we destroy our enemies, we always grant one ship of any alien fleet the title of Harbinger. This ship we never fire upon. Thou witness us destroying the rest of their fleet, watch them bravely die in futile gestures against our weapons, listen to their screams and death songs. And then we allow them return to their homeworld to bring witness of the memories of the fallen. So please pick a ship. Which one? To spare? One ship to not annihilate when we obliterate the rest of you, yes please. The war leader of the alien armada is silent. There is a silence across the entire alien fleet. Behind him, suddenly, his officers begin speaking. The commander of the furious rage asks to bear the terrible burden, in the unlikely event of our fleet's total destruction, to bring back word of our glorious dead to the homeworld. Coward! War leader, the commander of the Rending Claw asks that they be allowed to carry the tale of our glorious last stand back to Gloravak. The significant Fury requests the honor of bearing the burden of not sharing in our final battle and that it can bear the tale of our fall back to. As does the raging bile duct. I think one of their weapon ships is venting phosphine. It could be about to overload. Vortagen quivers in a way that allows his subordinates know he would like everyone to stop talking now, and is about to speak when the human commander says, "It seems a pity to destroy you. Your race has just proven you are about the only worthy one in this entire galaxy." "We have?" asks the Vegnaborian war leader. "How? All other species always plead and beg for their lives by now. You, however, make no such pleas. Not that we humans ever show mercy. But we appreciate the dignity with which you Vengaber face your death. Not like those other weaker species, eh?" "No. Not like them," says Vortagen. Around him are voices of his officers. The enigmatic Fury has requested that they take back the tales of our glorious dead. War leader, the commander of the red like a engorged organ, has demanded we make them the recorders of the glorious dead. You know, we could always beg for mercy. Didn't you hear them? They never show mercy. War leader, the Rage Quid has asked that. Wait! The voice of Vortagen echoes across human and alien fleets. The human commander called DarkRaven narrows his eyes. Wait! Human DarkRaven, we are a proud warrior species as you have said, but there is no glory in futile death against a more powerful foe. This is true, says his human opposite. We are technologically inferior to your species, says Vortagen. Not inferior, says the human. Merely behind. You have made great advances since we first met your kind many centuries ago. We recognize your worth, recognize you as the only race who will, in a few centuries perhaps, be equal to us. This is a great honor you have won from us already. Yes, says the war leader. A great honor won indeed. We are warriors but not fanatics. We do not waste our lives needlessly. The human nods. I see Vortagen bears the same wisdom as his illustrious ancestor. You may have this system then, says the war leader. The human nods and says quickly, We accept this gesture of magnanimity by the Vengabor, and will respond in kind. We will declare that henceforth this planet shall be the extent of our territory. From here back unto the edge of the galaxy we shall accept belongs to the Vengabor, never shall we trespass beyond it, and all beyond here shall be considered thine. Aye, and we shall state that from here belongs to the ancients called the humans, says Vortagen. A great victory has been won here by both our races, grins the human leader. We have both shown honor, and won for us both recognition in the eyes of a formidable opponent. A great victory! Aye. A victory! Around Vortagen his officers excitedly trill. A victory? Yes, a victory. Did you not hear they recognize the whole galaxy from here to the void as ours? Vortagen has given us a victory. One of theirs is dead. None of ours is dead. We leave with less dead than them. That's a victory to me. Victory! Victory! With the cries of victory resounding in all 120 ships of the Armada, Vortagen quivers his tentacles in respect to his formidable human rival, and DarkRaven nods solemnly back. Communications ceasing, the Vengebore Armada begins to slowly pull back. In time their ships gathering speed and FTL drives spiral up. One by one they return to the territory. The ships dissipate into the darkness. Silence falls. On board the human ship there is a moment's pause. Admiral DarkRaven gazed at the view of the inky void. Quietly he asks a simple question. Scope? The crew member on the long-range scanner stares at the screen eagerly. After a few moments he says, "They're gone, sir." DarkRaven grips the side of his control console and hisses, "Oh, thanks, good." And the bridge erupts into a storm of laughter. "I can't believe they fell for that. Oh my God! That was scary. I think I just shat myself. Wow. They actually bought it. I can't believe they believed any of that. I did. I actually shat myself. That's was such cringe. Thank you God, thank you God. Fled weapons? Diamondian shields? I mean seriously?" As screams of relief echo of the bulkheads, the principal weapons officer strides over and stands by the captain. They stare at the blank screen for a few seconds. The PWO gazed into the void before speaking in odd tones. "The most advanced militaristic and violent species in the galaxy, conquerors of over 130 star systems." Captain DarkRaven grins. "And have no concept of lying whatsoever." "Seriously? They actually cannot lie?" asks the PWO. "It's not that they can't lie, it's simply they don't even understand the concept of lying." The PWO shakes his head. "All that power? Totally fully morons." The captain grins. "Captain," says the medical officer, "what the hell was that? Thine? It shall be considered thine. Who the hell speaks like that? I thought it fitted the idiom. It was trash. I thought the moment you said thine they would spot it for sure. The whole thing was trash, Doc. You were just troweling it on like layers of crap." "Damn right. Just goes to show when dealing with a species who have no concept of deception. Go large or go home." The science officer looks over. "You didn't go large so much as go Himalayas. Hey, I didn't invent that whole fleet of ultimate annihilation. That was the last guy who had to deal with those calamari." "Captain," says the communications officer, "I got 9 tanker captains wondering what the hell they are doing out here. Tell them thanks from me, Laura. And for God's sake don't let them know how close they came to being obliterated by an alien armada. Oh, they already know that, Captain. They're super pissed. Shit. Tell them I will buy 'em all a drink." "Will do, Captain," she says. "Just the captain's mind," he adds hurriedly. One of the navigation staff comes over. "Captain, what on earth made you use 9 phosphine gas transports?" "They were what we had at hand, Jones," he says honestly. "Lucky for us they were nearby," says the PWO. "Hey! Hey!" The captain's bellow silences the jubilant/relieved crew, and all eyes fall on him. He smiles. "Can we just give a round of applause for Jones here for his brilliant fake argument with me and his truly epic death scream?" roars from the crew in Jones' mock bows. "Great death, Jones! You should take up screaming professionally." As it calms down, one of the medical assistants shouts out, "Hey! What the hell do people need phosphine for anyway?" "Rats," says one of the maintenance staff. "There's an outbreak on the Gendi station apparently. That the only reason we make that stuff. Thank the gods for rats, eh? They seem to crap themselves at the phosphine. And thank God for Captain Johansson having such a good poker face." At this the crew roar out an even louder chorus of laughter, and the science officer grins. "You're new, kid. You know why everyone calls him DarkRaven? The captain sighs. Really? It's 'cause it's the only game he can play and hope to win. The captain always loses at poker. He can't bluff to save his life. The crew erupt into even bigger rolls of laughter. That makes it even funnier. I can't believe they fell for that. It was so much waste. As the crew explode in joy and relief in another round of hysterical laughter, the captain quietly turns to his PWO. Right. Send word to Earth headquarters. He begins and his PWO blinks and goes. Who? Headquarters. Operational HQ? The PWO blinks. Who? Colin. Oh. Colin. That guy back in the office. Sure, says the officer. A moment's pause. Why? Tell him to get word to NASA or the Chins or hell, even the South Asians. Anyone. Anyone who has spaceships and are like faintly organized. Just send them an account of the copious amounts of trash I just gave the calamari so it can be used by the next poor dog who finds himself stuck in this quadrant. We need to make sure everyone keep their stories straight. 4 times we've bluffed them now, but that's only 'cause every captain out this way gets a briefing pack. Will do, Captain, smiles the PWO. Laura, the hard-working communications officer, having finally placated 9 furious tanker captains, sighs loudly. I have never been that scared before in my life. I have a real need for some mindless, life-affirming sex right now. Really? Asks one of the crew. Not you, Thomas, she hisses. All right, everyone, settle down, the captain barked. It's over. Back to your stations. Manning! Go clean your jumpsuit, that's just revolting. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. The rest of you, start scanning that planet, he commanded. We're staying? The incredulous tone of the medical officer drew everyone's attention. DarkRaven shot him a stern look. Yes, Doc, we are. If the most powerful species in the galaxy wanted this place, there's probably something valuable down there, maybe some rich mineral deposits. And you know what that means, money. But the calamari! Every time we capture one of them, they keep their distance for at least 20 years. And in case you've forgotten, freelance exploration ships only get paid for results. So if you want to get paid, start scanning that planet.